Imagine taking on the task of dissecting eating disorders. Well, this is just an average day in the life for FSU psychologist and professor Dr. Zhang and his team.
I have been studying the neurobiology of the food intake for more than 10 years.
Dr. Zhang, this lab, they study eating behavior, and actually it's also related to the motivated behavior and how stress affects our feeding behavior.
Given the importance of their studies, Zhang and his team recently received $1.8 million to continue their research.
It was a grant that was awarded to us to study serotonergic modulation of the zona incerta. The zona incerta is kind of more unknown, and that's been his massive body of work.
We used our genetic technology to specifically activate this neuron. Actually, we can see the mice immediately go to get food for feeding, which is amazing.
They observed the behavior of mice to optimize their experimental design and yield the best results that ultimately translate to human behavior.
We study some how stress affects eating behavior in the mice, and we noticed that if we give them some stress, like physical stress that we are recently doing, I also plan to do some social stress in the future because that would be more translational to human society. So for the physical stress, after the stress, some mice they will eat more and some will eat less, and that really interests me.
If we want to study the motivation, for example, we use the operant chambers.
For the operant conditioning chambers, someone needs to put the mice in every 45 minutes and take them out, clean the chambers, and record the data. So Jeremiah is super busy with that.
Through their studies, the research team has discovered food-seeking behaviors that completely defy science as we know it.
We started with using oxytocin to sort of modulate specific feeding behaviors. And we kind of unraveled a sort of novel function of oxytocin.
So after the oxytocin infusion into the brain, the mice who eat less after stress, they will eat more.
So typically it's seen to reduce food intake, motivation, and food intake. But we actually saw that an increase in motivation, which was very non-traditional in the field of neuroscience and food intake.
With the grant playing a major role in the continuation of their research, the members of this team recognize the important ways this funding is fueling their passion.
With this money, with this kind of support, I collected the preliminary data, and then I use this data. I already, get a grant from NIH that can support 5 more years my research, which is amazing. Why we need this kind of support? Otherwise, my interested study cannot be move forward.
It's really nice to, in a sense, not worry about the money, but it's nice to be able to actually increase, our ability to do things.
And in the end, it's important to remember why they put in all this work in the first place.
The brain's mechanism is way more complex than that's why we need to have more studies and understand the details about every mechanism.
I think my PI is a really enthusiastic person. He's so excited about research, and yeah, that kind of motivates me a lot.
To understand the mechanisms that are going on in other humans, that's why I come here every day.
The countless hours this team puts into their research continues to prove their discoveries go beyond just themselves and are impacting communities everywhere. This is Jordyn Adams reporting.